Okay, let me walk through some of the creative menu pieces. I explained earlier how it works. I mean, you basically click on any one of these and you can read about it and then click on the page number and you go right back to the menu. But I'll go through it one by one. Starting with branding. Branding is everything to me. I mean, everything has a certain look and feel. I mean, fonts and colors and everything from how you talk to people on the phone to the branding message and how it's presented. It sort of affects everything we do or everything I do on every project that I work on. So I sort of lead the menu with that item there. Next, we go into infographics. Infographics is a very popular deliverable nowadays. Basically, it's information graphics. We try to do it visually so that it's interesting. It always tells a story. Starts at the top and goes down step by step. I have various other guides on creating infographics, but they can be really fun. You'll see a wide variety of styles and techniques of how to create infographics, but to me they're probably one of the most popular items and tools nowadays, creative tools, and one of the most fun ones I like because it's literally like visual storytelling. Next up, we'll have the animations. Animations, I do a lot of animations. Another one of my favorite, I'd say one of my top 3. We can have a lot of fun with animations, and we can create so many different varieties of animations. I'm probably going to do a whole different podcast on animation because there's so much to it. But basically, we can have a lot of fun. It's more or less animating content and data. So take a really fun infographic and animate it and put it into motion. These are really, really popular and really, really effective. These tend to be the most watched things, the most watched content out there. So if you're going to create something, I can talk to you later about a sort of a combination hybrid. So what that means is I'll create an infographic and an animated an animation on top of that, because you can do both. You can incorporate both of these. So just, I don't know, something to keep in mind. Here's an example here. I'll show you really quick.
Quick win number 1, improving the lifetime value of your customers through predictive analytics. Here's my challenge.
See, we have voiceover talent, graphics.
We spend so much money acquiring new customers and struggling for revenue from each of them beyond
critical data. You know, we'll tell a story.
The customers that don't opt out either never return or... Easy thing. Quick Pivot can identify the best customers for your products, predict timing for their first and future...
So that's more or less what that is. I mean, there's so much more to show with an animation. So I'll probably go into more detail on that later, but that's more or less what an animation is. Next up in line after animation would be video. Video also is really important too, because a lot of people like to watch things. We like to be entertained or educated. And if you hadn't noticed, I mean, look at the slew of videos out there on Netflix and Amazon and others that people are streaming more than ever. This is a huge, huge growing industry, and it's becoming easier to get you on what I call the big screen, the modern big screen. So I do a lot of video. I actually do a lot of recording of video. I will meet with customers and I will videotape to do their own pitch decks and videos of their services and companies, interviews and things, and kind of put it together in a fun way. So video is the next item. Next up, this thing here, this is really cool. The video brochure. This was a tough one, because what I wanted to do was find a way. I was convinced that somewhere between an iPad and a printed brochure, there had to be something. This was years ago, too, that I started playing around with these. And I worked with a print group that partnered with some technology firms that allowed us, more or less, if you rip one of these apart, there's all kinds of electronics in here, but basically it's a cool printed design brochure, and I think of it like I can design any brochure, okay, like a folded brochure, and it's only a little over 1/8 of an inch that we put the technology in here, and we can design everything from what play buttons and volume buttons, what it says. I have a nice soft touch aqueous on this, so it has a nice professional touch to it. But let me see if I can go to a link here to show you what this is. Yes. I'll turn it down a little bit here too, but basically think of a digital brochure. So we have a tablet here of showing some kind of video, but you get it in hand and you open it up. I'll do a separate one on it where we open it up. It's got a nice, we can actually add a box to this particular company. We added a box to it, so it had a cool professional feel to when they received it. They'd opened it up. And then when you open it up, we can program it to just start up right away and start showing some of your stuff. What's cool about these too is that we can add the sound, we can add animations to it. We can even add a port here where you can actually extract and add your own data to it. So that's very cool. So that one there, not as popular because it's kind of a rare thing, but occasionally I'll have a client that, like a car dealership or a financial services firm, that wants to do something really cool and special, and that's where the video brochure comes into play. Next up would be the online infographics. Online infographics is important because sometimes you don't want it static. You don't want it to just be a PDF document. So what I do is I create an online experience. Again, think of a very small website that looks like an infographic. That's more or less what that is there. So that basically is all of the primary creative menu items on this list anyway for part one. The back side of the book would be the creative pricing guide. The creative pricing guide is set up and structured so it gives you some ideas on what I consider the 5 key factors for pricing a creative project. Value, budget, quality, scale, and extras. The first one, value, it's overall importance. Determine how important the project is and its overall importance. The second item would be the budget, how much money you want to invest in the project. The next item, number 3, would be how much effort to invest. Some things, as far as quality goes anyway, because you can put a lot of effort to create a lot of quality behind your project, or not so much. Scale, that's important too, because if it's a small project, it's going to affect the price. If it's a big project, it's going to highly affect the price. Extras would be the additional work required, because some projects have extras. So for example, you want a website, okay, but now you want to have a shopping cart feature. That's additional work that takes more effort. Therefore, the scale's bigger, the quality's better, and the budget's higher, and now it has more value because now you have a shopping cart on your website. So these all tie together and they're all integrated. And then I provide the cost curves because I wanted to provide a range from low to high and give people a visual to kind of tell you where you might be price-wise. It's so hard to price a project sometimes. And although I'm flexible, I needed a visual, some kind of almost like a whiteboard sketch, if you will. It's a little more than a whiteboard, but it's a sketch to help you see what the range might be. And then I broke it down. So I have animation cost curve to give you a range of the animation cost curve just to see the different prices. I have the infographic cost curve too, because that can vary quite a bit. I have the website cost curve. That's very popular these days because, again, go everything from basic all the way up through advanced. That's where the website cost curve helps. Document cost curves, with white papers and those types of things, same thing with that. And then I broke it down on the last page, one of the last pages, to give you a basic, average, and advanced range to show you, just to give you an idea on pricing. So when we have a conversation about animation, if it's between 5 and 10K, and then on the what page you can find some samples on. But that was pretty much it. And I don't know. Check it out. Go on my website and see it for yourself and see if it's something that you might find interesting. The creative menu.